Welcome, dear listener, to Stories for Sleep, a place where the past unfolds gently and the whispers of history ease your mind into quiet rest. Tonight, we drift back to the world of the samurai, those iconic figures of Japan's past, wrapped in armor and bound by honor. But this story is not of battles or fierce duels. Rather, it is of the rhythm of their days, the quiet moments, the small rituals, the breath between the sword strikes. And if you enjoy drifting through these ancient pathways, don't forget to subscribe and let us know where and when you listen, so that together we can journey softly through time. Now, imagine yourself waking with the dawn in a samurai household, the faint rustle of silk and tatami mats greeting you. The day begins, and with it, a glimpse into a world that balances discipline with poetry, strength with grace. Imagine, if you will, a modest yet refined home nestled beneath the broad branches of a sakura tree, its petals just beginning to blush with the morning light. The air is cool and carries the faint scent of moist earth and pine. The samurai household awakens slowly, not with loud clamors, but with the soft sounds of life stirring. A low wooden sliding door shifts quietly as the lady of the house rises first, her kimono brushing lightly against the polished wooden floor. She moves with the measured care of someone aware that this day, like all days, is a thread in the fabric of tradition. Nearby, a small hearth glows faintly, the last embers of the night's fire smoldering under a simple iron kettle. The scent of brewed tea begins to fill the room, a delicate fragrance that promises calm and focus. In the inner chambers, the samurai himself begins to stir, not with haste or impatience, but with the deliberate movements of a man who understands. That strength lies not only in muscle, but in discipline. He rolls back the futon with quiet hands, the straw mat beneath cool and firm. His morning is unhurried but purposeful, every gesture, a part of a routine perfected over years. The household servants are already at work, their footsteps light and respectful. Some carry water from a nearby well. Others arrange fresh linen or sweep the garden path with fine bamboo brooms, the rhythmic scratching of the brooms against the stone is a gentle percussion that blends with the waking bird song, creating a peaceful melody that anchors the morning. Breakfast is simple steamed rice, pickled vegetables, perhaps a small grilled fish. There is no rush to eat, no clatter of dishes. Each bite is a mindful act, a way to honor the nourishment that will sustain body and mind. The samurai's gaze may drift to the garden, where the moss carpets the ground in quiet green, and the carefully placed stones seem to tell a story of their own. This morning ritual is about more than food. It is about presence, about centering oneself before the demands of the day. Because the samurai's life, though often imagined as endlessly heroic, was also filled with quiet hours spent in study, in contemplation, and in preparing for tasks both mundane and extraordinary. After breakfast, the samurai might pick up his calligraphy brush, a slender instrument dipped in ink as dark as the midnight sky. The movement of the brush over paper is slow and deliberate, almost meditative. Each stroke, each character, is a lesson in patience and control. This practice connects him to centuries of culture, reminding him that the way of the sword is inseparable from the way of art and refinement. Outside, the village begins to hum with soft activity. Farmers tend their rice paddies, their water buffalo pulling plows in the shallow, flooded fields. The sound of flowing water in irrigation canals adds another layer to the gentle soundscape of dawn. It is a world not of clashing steel, but of balance, between nature and human effort, between duty and beauty. The samurai's armor, though often admired as a symbol of might, spends most days resting quietly on wooden stands, polished but undisturbed. Today, the weight of metal will be lifted only when duty calls, allowing room for the lighter burdens of study, ceremony, and careful planning. As the morning stretches onward, you can almost hear the slow, steady breath of this household. Imagine yourself seated quietly by a shoshi window, watching sunlight spill in golden pools onto tatami mats, feeling the calm pulse of a day unfolding with gentle purpose. In this way, the samurai's day begins not with noise or haste, but with a soft awakening, a mindful entry into the rhythm of life. It is a reminder that beneath the armor and the legends lies a human world, delicate and precise, waiting to be discovered. As the sun rises higher, the samurai's day moves into its next phase, a time when strength and tranquility intertwine like the interlocking pieces of his armor. Imagine the warmth of late morning filtering through paper walls, casting a muted light over the interior of the home. The world feels still, held in a moment between activity and rest. Around this hour, the samurai would often devote himself to martial training, though not always the fierce, breathless combat scenes we imagine. Instead, picture a small courtyard enclosed by bamboo fences and the walls of the estate, a place, both private and sacred. The ground is carefully swept, the dust smoothed away so that every step is deliberate and clear. Here, the samurai practices with his bakken, a wooden sword shaped like the real thing. The strikes are measured, fluid, the sound a soft whisper of wood cutting through the air. It is a dance of precision rather than power, where each movement sharpens both body and mind. If the samurai has a teacher or master nearby, their exchange is one of quiet correction and encouragement. No loud shouts or clanging armor, but a steady, calm flow of instruction. Imagine the faint rustle of kimono sleeves, the occasional sigh of concentration, the steady thud of the bakken meeting its target. Training is not just physical. It is a practice of patience, endurance, and respect for the moment. The samurai understands that the blade is only part of the story. The way it is wielded reveals the character beneath the helmet. Following training, the samurai may retreat indoors for moments of tea ceremony, an art form that is at once humble and profound. Imagine the delicate porcelain cup held between fingers, the careful pouring of fragrant green tea, the faint warmth radiating through the hands. The ceremony unfolds slowly, almost as a meditation where every movement has meaning. The tea garden. Outside might be visible through open sliding doors, a space where moss carpets the earth, stones are placed with intention, and a bamboo water feature trickles softly. The sound is subtle but constant, a gentle reminder of time's passage and the beauty of simplicity. In these quiet moments, the samurai reflects on his duties, on the balance between his responsibilities as a warrior and as a member of his community. There may be letters to read, carefully penned messages from fellow samurai or the lord of the domain, their contents hinting at distant political currents or the subtle shifts of alliances. Lunch is a quiet affair, perhaps a bowl of miso soup, tender rice, and small portions of pickled vegetables. The samurai eats with appreciation for the effort it took to prepare the meal and the sustaining power it provides. Conversation is sparse, thoughtful. Imagine the sun climbing higher, the shadows shortening as the day moves toward afternoon. The air might carry the faint scent of pine resin or the distant flowering of wisteria vines. The world feels calm, as if held in a slow breath. In this way, the midday unfolds as a careful balance between physical readiness and serene reflection. It is a reminder that the samurai's strength was never just in his sword arm, but in the calm center of his being. Soon, as afternoon approaches, we will follow the rhythm further into the day, discovering how the samurai navigated his social world and the subtle tensions of rank and expectation. For now, imagine yourself sitting quietly beside the samurai's garden, feeling the soft breeze on your skin and hearing the delicate harmony of a day unfolding gently toward evening. As the afternoon sun casts longer shadows, the samurai's day often turns toward the social, though not in the loud or bustling sense one might expect. Instead, picture a room softly lit by natural light, filtered through rice paper screens, where neighbors and allies gather with deliberate calm, bound by a network of respect and obligation. In these encounters, formality governs every gesture. Imagine a visitor stepping lightly onto a tatami mat, removing sandals with careful grace, bowing just enough to honor, but not overwhelm. The air hums softly with unspoken codes, the slight tilt of the head, the measured tone of voice, the exchange of gifts wrapped in cloth as precisely folded as origami cranes. The samurai's relationships were layered and subtle, weaving together bonds of loyalty to one's lord, alliances with fellow warriors, and responsibilities toward family. These meetings might involve quiet conversation over tea or a shared meal, but also the performance of ritual, a dance as intricate as any. Swordplay? Perhaps you can envision a game of Go laid out on a low table, the black and white stones clicking gently as players consider each move. More than pastime, Go was a metaphor for strategy and foresight, reflecting the careful calculations of the samurai's life beyond the battlefield. Respect extended beyond human companions to nature itself. It was common to admire a carefully arranged ikebana flower display, or to note the changing seasons through the scrolls of hanging calligraphy. These elements offered calm reminders of the world's enduring cycles, even as human lives shifted and changed. Amid this calm, there were always undercurrents of tensioned political alliances, rivalries quietly held beneath composed exteriors. The samurai's social life was a constant negotiation of honor and influence, but these were managed with a restraint that preserved dignity and peace. Imagine yourself seated in a corner, observing the soft murmur of voices, the clink of porcelain, the graceful movements of kimono sleeves. You feel the subtle rhythm of respect and tradition binding these moments together, a fragile yet enduring thread. This afternoon's circle provides a softer, quieter side to the samurai's world, reminding us that beneath the armor and duty lies a tapestry of human connection, woven with care, patience, and the gentle weight of expectation. If the samurai's day holds moments of serene social grace, it also harbors a quiet fascination with the armor they wore, an intricate blend of artistry and practicality. Imagine for a moment stepping into a dimly lit room where armor stands, displayed on wooden mannequins, their lacquered plates catching the soft glow like the scales of a great mythical dragon. Samurai armor was not merely functional. It was a statement of identity and status, crafted with care that bordered on reverence. Layers of lacquered leather, silk cords woven in patterns, both protective and beautiful, and plates shaped to deflect the unseen threats of arrows and blades. The armor's design was a language of symbols. Imagine a helmet or kabuto, crowned with a crest, sometimes a simple family emblem, other times a bold, dramatic shape evoking horns or waves. These crests declared allegiance and personality, marking a warrior in the chaos of battle or ceremony alike. Yet beneath this artistry lay the weight of uncertainty and danger. The armor bore the scars of past conflicts, tiny dents telling silent stories of arrows that missed their mark or glancing blows from enemy blades. Despite its beauty, it was a shield against the unpredictable tides of violence. There is an almost poetic mystery to the way armor was constructed, how thin silk cords held together heavy plates, how artisans balanced flexibility and strength. Imagine running your fingers over the smooth lacquer, feeling the coolness and subtle ridges that hint at countless hours of labor. Interestingly, the armor was not worn constantly. On peaceful days, it rested quietly in its place, polished but unused, like a prized poem waiting to be spoken. The samurai's true battle was often mental planning, diplomacy, and the quiet endurance of duty. Modern archaeologists have uncovered fragments of this armor, piecing together its story from layers of rust and lacquer. Each find whispers hints about who wore it, the battles they faced, and the culture that valued honor as much as survival. Imagine standing before this ancient armor, the weight of centuries pressing softly on your senses. It invites contemplation, a reminder that even objects forged for war carry the gentle marks of human hands and hopes. As afternoon deepens, we will soon drift toward the quieter moments of the samurai's evening, where the boundary between warrior and poet blurs gently. For now, feel the soft glow of the lantern light as it begins to fill the room, and the steady rhythm of a day moving softly toward dusk. As the sun begins its slow descent beyond the distant hills, the samurai's day unfolds into evening, a time marked by quiet rituals and gentle reflection. Imagine the soft glow of paper lanterns emerging one by one, their warm light casting dancing shadows on the wooden beams and sliding doors. The house, now cloaked in the calm colors of dusk, breathes a different kind of life, a slower, more deliberate rhythm. Within these walls, the samurai prepares for a different kind of discipline. The armor, which spent the day resting like a silent guardian, is carefully stored away. Its lacquered plates catch the last flickers of light, reminders of duty and the weight carried both physically and symbolically. But now, it is time for the softer arts to take precedence. The brush, the poetry, the careful balance of honor and humanity. Imagine the samurai seated at a low writing desk, the grain of polished wood smooth beneath his fingers. A sheet of washi paper lies ready, waiting for the ink to flow and the characters to come alive. Calligraphy is more than mere writing. It is a meditation, a channel for spirit and focus. The brush moves slowly, deliberately, as if tracing the very breath of the evening itself. Outside, the garden is a quiet sanctuary. The moss glistens faintly with the evening's moisture, and the faint scent of pine needles mingles with the subtle fragrance of blooming jasmine. The gentle ripple of a small koi pond adds a soft soundscape, water flowing in a delicate, endless cycle, just as the samurai's day flows from strength to serenity. Dinner, too, is approached with care. It is a simple affair, but prepared with the utmost respect for ingredients and seasonality. Steamed rice, a bowl of clear soup infused with wild herbs, tender slices of grilled fish, and pickled vegetables arranged like a miniature garden on delicate porcelain plates. The act of eating is mindful, slow, appreciative, a moment to honor. The sustenance that fuels body and spirit. There is a quietness here that contrasts deeply with the fierce image often associated with samurai. Instead of loud boasts or clattering swords, you hear the gentle clink of chopsticks and the soft murmur of conversation, if any at all. Even in the closeness of family or trusted retainers, words are chosen carefully, tone measured with respect and consideration. After the meal, there may be time for contemplation or instruction. The samurai might discuss poetry or philosophy with his companions, exploring the ideas of impermanence and beauty that resonate deeply within their culture. Perhaps a scroll is unrolled, revealing an ancient painting of mountains shrouded in mist, or a story is told quietly, legends of past heroes, woven with lessons for the present. The night deepens, and with it comes the ritual of preparation for rest. The futon is laid out on tatami mats, the sheets cool and crisp. The samurai removes his kimono with care, folding it neatly before settling down. Imagine the softness of fabric against skin, the coolness of the night air slipping through an open window, carrying the scent of distant rain. Sleep comes gently here, as the mind eases from the day's duties to a peaceful release. There is a comfort in the steady rhythm of these evening hours, a reminder that even the strongest among us need rest, that strength is renewed in moments of calm and quiet. So imagine yourself nestled in this tranquil household, the soft sounds of night settling around you. The distant call of a night bird, the rustle of bamboo leaves in the breeze, and the fading warmth of the day's last light all blend into a soothing lullaby. This is the samurai's evening, a time of grace, reflection, and gentle endings. If The samurai's daily life unfolds in quiet rituals and measured moments. It also finds expression in the stories of individuals, men and women whose lives, like ripples in a still pond, extend far beyond their own time. One such figure is Miyamoto Musashi, perhaps the most famous samurai of all, whose life offers a window into the depth behind the sword. Imagine a boy born in the late 16th century, in a Japan marked by turbulent times and shifting allegiances. Musashi grew up amid the clamor of conflict, yet his path was unlike many. He was not born into a high-ranking family, but rather found his way through talent, tenacity, and a singular commitment to mastery. His earliest years were steeped in the sounds of nature, the rustle of bamboo forests, the steady flow of rivers, the distant echo of temple bells. He learned to observe keenly, understanding that a warrior's strength was as much in awareness as in the sword arm. This attentiveness would shape every aspect of his life. By his teens, Musashi had already fought in his first battle. Yet it was not brute force alone that marked him, but a deliberate, almost poetic approach to combat. He sought not merely to win, but to understand the essence of fighting, its rhythms, its flow, its deeper lessons. Throughout his life, Musashi is said to have fought over 60 duels, often against more experienced or heavily armed opponents. But these encounters were not spectacles of violence. They were carefully measured tests of skill and strategy. Imagine the quiet tension before a duel, the stillness, the watching eyes, the slow, deliberate movements as two warriors read each other like pages in a book. Yet Musashi's legacy extends far beyond the sword. He was an accomplished artist and writer, producing works that blend philosophy, calligraphy, and poetry. His treatise, The Book of Five Rings, is a testament not only to martial technique, but to the spiritual discipline that underpins mastery. In his later years, Musashi retreated to a quiet cave, dedicating himself to reflection and art. Imagine the solitude, the flickering candlelight illuminating ink and brush, the silence broken only by the scratching of pen on paper and the whisper of wind through the trees. His life was a constant balance between action and thought, discipline and creativity, solitude and engagement. It reminds us that even those who bear swords carry within them the quiet depths of human complexity. So, as you imagine the world of Miyamoto Musashi, feel the rhythm of his days, the slow unfolding of skill and wisdom, the interplay of light and shadow in a life lived fully and deeply. This glimpse into one samurai's life draws us closer to understanding the rich tapestry behind the armor and legend. It is a gentle reminder that history is not merely a record of events, but a collection of human stories, soft with the texture of dreams, fears, and hopes. As the samurai's day moves gently forward, imagine stepping beyond the quiet household into a realm shaped by stone walls and wooden watchtowers, the samurai castles, majestic yet serene, rising patiently from hills and riverbanks. These fortresses are not merely military structures. They are living poems in wood and stone, embodying centuries of craftsmanship, strategy, and subtle power. Picture yourself approaching one such castle in the soft morning light. The walls loom, not with threatening harshness, but with the quiet dignity of centuries. Their surfaces are mottled with patches of moss and lichen, the work of time softening the hard edges. The narrow windows, or arrow slits, peer out like watchful eyes, guarding against threats both seen and imagined. Building these castles was no hurried feat. It was a slow, deliberate process, weaving natural materials into a stronghold that balanced defense and beauty. Stones were carefully selected and fitted without mortar, relying on gravity and expert placement to hold them firm. The wooden beams, thick and sturdy, were carved with an artisan's hand, notched precisely to fit and withstand. Inside, the castle's layout is a labyrinth of corridors and rooms designed to confuse invaders can protect its occupants. Imagine walking slowly through these spaces, the echo of your footsteps softened by tatami mats, the scent of aged wood and charcoal lingering in the air. Every doorway, every screen, every stairwell serves a purpose, blending practicality with the grace of Japanese aesthetics. There is a quiet mystery here. Rooms that once held heated councils now stand empty, their silence heavy with memory. The garden courtyards, carefully arranged with stones and miniature trees, are peaceful refuges within these imposing walls. Imagine a gentle breeze stirring the leaves, the distant sound of water from a small pond adding to the stillness. Archaeologists today uncover traces of these castles, peeling back layers of earth and history to reveal foundations and artifacts. Each discovery is like a whisper from the past, a broken tile, a fragment of lacquered armor, a rusted arrowhead telling stories that were never written down. These silent witnesses speak of lives lived within walls, both protective and confining. Yet castles were not merely fortresses. They were symbols of status and power. The lords who commanded them held sway over vast lands and people. The castle's imposing silhouette against the sky was a reminder of authority, a constant presence in the daily lives of villagers and warriors alike. Imagine yourself standing on a wooden balcony, the cool wind brushing your face, gazing out over the landscape. Fields stretch into the distance, rivers wind lazily through valleys, and beyond, mountains rise blue and distant. This view, held day after day, must have grounded the samurai in the vastness of the world beyond their immediate duties. The castles, like the samurai themselves, balance strength with subtlety. They are built not only to repel enemies, but to endure time's slow passage. They hold within their walls the quiet echoes of conversations, laughter, fears, and hopes, a testament to the layered life of those who lived behind their battlements. As evening falls and lanterns light the castle halls, one can almost hear the gentle murmur of past inhabitants, the soft rustle of silk robes, the measured footsteps of centuries, the distant clink of teacups. It is a place where history lingers, softly, inviting contemplation rather than battle cries. So imagine yourself wandering these silent halls, feeling the cool stone beneath your fingers, breathing in the mingled scents of wood and earth, and hearing the quiet stories whispered by the walls themselves. In this way, the samurai castle becomes more than a building. It is a living memory, a gentle guardian of times long past. If the castle stands as a monument to strength and endurance, the social life within reveals the delicate balance of status, obligation, and subtle performance that defined the samurai elite. Imagine, if you will, a gathering in a richly appointed room, tatami mats, laid with precision, painted scrolls hanging softly on the walls, and the faint fragrance of incense curling through the air. Here, the samurai and their families navigate a world where every action is measured, every word chosen with care. Social interaction is not casual but ritualized, a careful dance of respect, hierarchy, and unspoken expectation. Imagine the softness of silk kimonos brushing against polished floors, the quiet exchange of bows that speak volumes in their simplicity. At these gatherings, conversations revolve around poetry, philosophy, and politics, yet they unfold with the calm restraint befitting warriors who understand the power of silence as much as speech. Imagine listening to an elder recite a waka poem, the cadence slow and deliberate, the meaning layered like the petals of a chrysanthemum. Hospitality is paramount. Guests are offered tea with graceful ceremony, the delicate pouring of steaming water, the precise rotation of bowls, the quiet appreciation of flavor and form. Meals are composed of seasonal ingredients, presented as artful arrangements that honor nature's bounty. Each dish is savored slowly, the act of eating becoming a meditation on balance and gratitude. Yet beneath this polished surface lies the constant awareness of rank and duty. The samurai's place in society is a web of obligations to one's lord, family, and peers. Imagine the weight of expectation pressing gently but persistently, like the soft but unyielding pressure of a finely woven silk obi. Marriage alliances, inheritance, and succession are all matters handled with discretion and care. Behind closed doors, conversations about strategy and loyalty shape futures as surely as any battlefield. These moments, though unseen by outsiders, hold immense significance for the family's honor and survival. Contrast this life with that of common villagers, who toil in fields and workshops far from the polished floors and painted screens. The samurai elite's world might seem distant, almost ethereal, yet it is built on the foundation of everyday labor and sacrifice. Imagine the faint hum of village life beyond the castle walls, a reminder that even privilege rests on shared human effort. Within the home, the samurai family maintains traditions that connect generations. The practice of tea ceremony, the study of calligraphy, and the observance of seasonal festivals are all threads weaving the fabric of identity and belonging. Imagine the quiet satisfaction of passing down a carefully folded kimono, a family heirloom from parent to child. And yet, even in this world of ceremony and rank, there is room for personal reflection and growth. The samurai's journey is as much inward as outward, a constant striving for harmony between the demands of the world and the stillness within. As twilight deepens, picture a samurai stepping onto a veranda, gazing at the stars emerging one by one in the deepening sky. The world feels vast, quiet, and filled with possibility. A gentle reminder that beneath titles and armor, we are all part of the same unfolding story. So imagine yourself sharing in this moment. The cool evening air brushing softly against your skin, the faint murmur of distant voices, the delicate scent of blooming night flowers. Here, in the social world of the samurai elite, life is a blend of grace and gravity, of duty and quiet beauty. As the samurai's day flows onward, there is a place of quiet refuge garden, carefully tended and shaped, not just as decoration, but as a living meditation. Imagine stepping barefoot onto smooth stones, warmed by the afternoon sun, the soft rustle of bamboo leaves whispering secrets overhead. This garden is a space where nature and human touch intertwine, creating harmony that soothes the spirit. Samurai gardens were not grandiose displays of wealth, but thoughtful expressions of beauty and impermanence. Picture a small pond edged with moss-covered rocks, its still surface mirroring the sky and the branches of a nearby cherry tree. Water trickles gently from a bamboo spout into a shallow basin, sound so soft it might be mistaken for the breath of the earth itself. Every element in the garden carries meaning. Stones represent mountains or islands, arranged with precision to suggest vast landscapes in miniature. Paths wind thoughtfully between patches of delicate ferns and carefully pruned pines, inviting slow, mindful walking rather than hurried passage. Imagine the cool touch of a lantern's stone surface, smooth from years of weather, or the faint scent of azalea blossoms drifting on the breeze. Seasonal changes are celebrated here. The bright green of spring leaves, the fiery reds of autumn maples, the quiet blanketing of winter snow. For the samurai, this garden was more than scenery. It was a classroom in patience and observation, a mirror reflecting the rhythms of life and death. In tending the plants and stones, they practiced discipline and reverence for the fleeting beauty around them. Visitors to the garden would move slowly, their footsteps softened by straw sandals and the carefully raked gravel. Conversations, if any, were hushed, allowing space for thought to wander. Imagine watching a single leaf fall, tracing its descent with calm attention, a small lesson in impermanence. This connection to nature grounded the samurai in a world larger than their own ambitions and battles. It was a reminder that even in times of conflict, the seasons turn and life persists in quiet grace. You might picture a young samurai sitting beside the pond, brush in hand, sketching the delicate curve of a branch or the ripple on the water's surface. Through this art, they learn to see deeply, not just with eyes but with heart and mind. As the sun dips lower, shadows stretch across the garden stones, lengthening like the soft sighs of the day. The garden becomes a place of calm reflection, a sanctuary from the weight of duty and expectation. Imagine yourself here, breathing the cool evening air, hearing the gentle plash of water, and feeling the steady pulse of nature's slow, patient rhythms. This is the Samurai Garden, a space where history and tranquility meet, inviting us all to pause, breathe, and find peace. In the gentle unfolding of a samurai's life, education holds a place both practical and profound. Imagine a quiet room, lined with scrolls and inkstones, where a young samurai sits cross-legged, eyes steady, absorbing lessons that will shape not only skill but character. Education for the samurai was a lifelong journey far beyond the study of swordsmanship. From early childhood, boys, and occasionally girls, were taught not just fighting techniques, but also literature, philosophy, ethics, and the arts. The goal was to cultivate a balanced individual, strong in body and mind, capable of both action and reflection. Picture a teacher's calm voice guiding a student through the brushstrokes of kanji characters. The delicate art of calligraphy as much about focus and control as about writing. Each stroke is slow and deliberate, an exercise in patience and mindfulness. Alongside language and poetry, samurai learned the principles of Confucian ethics, the importance of loyalty, filial piety, and justice. These lessons were not abstract. They were lived truths, woven into daily life and decisions. Imagine a family dinner where respect for elders is shown in subtle gestures, a quiet exchange of words reinforcing the values learned in study. Physical training complemented mental discipline. Early mornings might be spent practicing kenjutsu, the art of swordsmanship, with wooden swords in hand. Each movement was repeated slowly at first, then with growing precision and confidence. The samurai learned to listen to their breath, to move with grace and economy, conserving energy while remaining ready. Beyond swordplay, there were lessons in strategy, horsemanship, archery, and even swimming. The samurai was expected to be versatile, prepared for many challenges. Imagine the steady rhythm of arrows flying silently through the air, the firm grip of reins as a horse carries its rider through forest paths. Yet education was not solely about preparation for battle. The samurai were patrons and practitioners of the arts. Music, poetry, tea ceremony, and flower arranging offered ways to cultivate refinement and balance. Imagine the soft notes of a shakuhachi flute echoing through a quiet room, a poem whispered softly in praise of a fleeting sunset. This holistic education reflects a worldview where strength and beauty coexist, where the sharpness of the blade is matched by the subtlety of thought and feeling. As evening deepens and the samurai prepares to rest, imagine the slow closing of scrolls and the gentle lowering of brushes. The mind settles into a calm focus, the body relaxed but ready. In this way, the samurai's education becomes a gentle journey, one that shapes not just a warrior's skill, but the very rhythm of a life lived with intention and grace. Imagine yourself beside this student, the quiet sound of ink on paper, the faint scent of sandalwood incense curling in the air, and the steady heartbeat of learning unfolding softly toward night. Imagine the subtle interplay of belief and daily practice in the samurai's life, where spirituality was woven into the very fabric of existence, quiet moments of reverence and reflection that shaped the rhythm of their days. The samurai, though, often seen through the lens of martial prowess, were deeply connected to the spiritual traditions of Japan, primarily Shinto and Zen Buddhism. These beliefs offered guidance, comfort, and a way to face life's uncertainties with composed strength. Picture a tranquil shrine nestled among towering cedar trees, its vermilion torii gate standing quietly against the green. Here, the samurai might come at dawn or dusk, offering a respectful bow before the sacred space. The air carries a faint scent of incense, and the soft rustle of prayer papers fluttering in the breeze. These visits were not grand spectacles, but personal moments of connection, silent prayers for protection, honor, and peace. Shinto, with its focus on kami, the spirits of nature and ancestors, reminded the samurai of their place within a larger, living world. Imagine the gentle touch of cold water at a purification basin, the crisp sound of wooden clappers signaling attention, and the soft murmur of chants. These rituals anchored the samurai in gratitude and humility, recognizing the sacred in the everyday. Zen Buddhism, on the other hand, offered a path inward. Envision a small meditation hall with tatami mats, where the samurai sits cross-legged, eyes half closed, breathing slowly and deeply. The practice of zazen-seated meditation cultivated a calm mind and clarity in action. This discipline helped the warrior embrace impermanence, accept uncertainty, and find stillness amid the chaos of life. The simplicity of Zen aesthetics echoed in the samurai's world. The unadorned tea room, the carefully raked gravel garden, the sparse yet meaningful poetry. Each was a reminder to see beyond the surface, to appreciate the essence of things. Imagine a slow walk through a bamboo grove, leaves whispering secrets to the wind, footsteps barely making a sound. This was a moving meditation, a harmony between body and environment. Faith also shaped the samurai's understanding of death and honor. The acceptance of mortality was central. A warrior's life might be brief, yet filled with purpose. Imagine the quiet solemnity before battle, the ritual preparations not just for combat, but for facing the unknown with dignity. This perspective brought a gentle strength, a readiness not born of fear, but of serene acceptance. At home, small altars might hold ancestral tablets, incense burning softly as family members paid respect. These acts connected generations, weaving personal history into the sacred flow of time. Imagine a mother lighting incense while her child listens quietly, learning the rhythms of reverence passed down like a soft song. Even the samurai's aesthetic choices, calligraphy, flower arranging, poetry were touched by spirituality, reflecting a worldview where art and faith intertwined seamlessly. The beauty of a single cherry blossom, fleeting and fragile, became a metaphor for life itself. As evening shadows lengthen and lantern light glows softly, picture the samurai returning from the shrine or meditation hall. A calm settled over body and mind. The world outside may be unpredictable, but within this quiet space, there is balance, presence, and gentle peace. Imagine yourself in this moment, breathing in the cool night air, feeling the soft glow of candlelight, and sensing the steady heartbeat of faith guiding a warrior's steps through both the known and the mysterious. As we drift deeper into the day's unfolding story, it becomes clear that the samurai's existence was only one thread in the rich tapestry of Japanese life. To understand fully, we must turn our gaze to those who lived outside the warrior. Class the peasants, whose daily toil supported the world upon which samurai power rested. Imagine a small village nestled among rice paddies, early morning mist hovering just above the water. The peasants rise before dawn, their movements slow but purposeful, echoing the rhythm of the earth and seasons. Unlike the samurai's measured and often ceremonial day, theirs is shaped by the practical demands of survival and the endless cycles of planting, tending, and harvesting. The fields are flooded with water from a nearby stream, reflecting the pale sky like mirrors. Farmers wade carefully through the muddy terraces, hands deep in soil, eyes watchful for signs of growth or threat. The scent of wet earth and growing. Rice mingles with smoke from cooking fires, faint, yet persistent reminders of the human effort sustaining the land. Unlike the samurai's study of calligraphy and poetry, the peasants learn their own lessons: how to read the clouds for rain, how to tend to crops with patience, how to endure hardship without complaint. Their education is practical, passed down in stories and shared labor, quiet wisdom gained from a lifetime spent close to the earth. While the samurai's armor gleams in polished displays, the peasants wear simple clothing, faded and mended from long use. Their homes are humble wooden beams, thatched roofs, tatami floors, but without the delicate screens or ornate decorations. Imagine the flicker of oil lamps inside these modest houses, the gentle hum of children settling down after a day's work. Despite differences in status, both samurai and peasants share a connection to cycles of nature, duty, and community. The peasants provide the rice that fills the samurai's bowls, the labor that sustains the castles and towns. Their lives may seem worlds apart, yet they are bound in a quiet interdependence. There is also a contrast in freedoms. The samurai, though privileged, carried heavy responsibilities and restrictions, bound by codes of conduct, loyalty to lords, and expectations of honor. The peasants, while limited by social class, often found their own forms of community and resilience in shared hardship. Imagine the soft murmur of village festivals, where villagers gather to celebrate seasonal changes. With dances and songs, simple joys that punctuate the steady rhythm of work. These moments bring a different kind of fulfillment, a gentle reminder that life's meaning can be found in both grand duty and humble celebration. As dusk settles, picture the peasants lighting fires outside their homes, the orange glow flickering against dark silhouettes of rice stalks. Their day closes with quiet songs and stories, a lullaby for the earth and for the children who will rise to tend the fields anew. In this contrast between samurai and peasant, we see the layered complexity of a world held together by duty, tradition, and shared humanity. Each life, in its own way, moves to the rhythm of time, sometimes slow, sometimes urgent, always woven into the fabric of the whole. Imagine yourself standing on the border between castle grounds and village fields, feeling the cool evening air, hearing the distant sounds of daily life, and sensing the delicate balance that sustained an entire society. As dawn softly breaks over the landscape, the samurai's day begins with rituals steeped in intention and quiet discipline. Imagine the gentle light filtering through rice paper screens, painting subtle patterns on the polished wooden floor. The air is cool, still carrying the faint scent of the night's lingering dew and the distant sound of a water basin being refreshed. Rising before the household stirs, the samurai moves deliberately, honoring the rhythm of the morning. The first act often involves purification, a symbolic washing of the hands and face with cold water drawn from a bamboo spout. This ritual cleanses not just the body but the spirit, marking the boundary between night's rest and day's duty. Imagine the samurai kneeling briefly in silent meditation, eyes lowered, breathing slow and steady. This moment of stillness grounds the mind, fostering calm focus before the day's demands unfold. It is a quiet conversation with oneself, a setting of intention wrapped in the soft folds of solitude. Following this, the samurai dons clothing chosen with care, layers of fine silk or cotton, folded and tied to allow freedom of movement, yet present a poised appearance. Imagine the smooth touch of fabric brushing against skin, the faint rustle of folds moving with graceful economy. Next comes the preparation of weapons, not with haste or aggression, but with respect and mindfulness. The katana is carefully cleaned and polished, its blade catching the soft morning light like a sliver of moon. Imagine the slow, precise strokes of a cloth gliding over steel, each pass a silent promise to honor the craft and the legacy carried by the sword. This act of tending to one's weapons is more than maintenance. It is a meditation in itself, a way of connecting to the history, duty, and discipline that define the samurai way. The sword is both tool and symbol, representing strength tempered by responsibility. After weapons are prepared, the samurai may move to physical training practicing kata, or formalized sequences of movement, in a quiet courtyard or dojo. Imagine the measured flow of body and breath, each step deliberate, each strike controlled, echoing the rhythm of centuries-old tradition. As morning advances, there may be a brief meal, simple and nourishing, a bowl of rice, miso soup, and pickled vegetables. Eating is a mindful act, honoring the earth's gifts and fueling the body for the day ahead. Throughout these morning rituals, there is a sense of balance between stillness and motion, solitude and preparation. A samurai's day begins not with noise or rush, but with gentle attention to detail and an awareness of place within the unfolding world. Imagine yourself alongside this figure, feeling the cool morning air, hearing the soft rustle of fabric, the whisper of water, and the quiet strength that comes from rising with purpose and grace. While many imagine samurai as warriors on distant battlefields, much of their lives were spent in quieter, but no less important, roles within governance and administration. Picture a tranquil chamber within a castle, papers carefully stacked, inkstones and brushes ready, the faint scent of sandalwood incense hanging softly in the air. The samurai who served as officials were often tasked with managing lands, collecting taxes, and overseeing justice. Their power was exercised not with sword or spear, but through careful judgment, negotiation, and the steady application of laws and customs. Imagine a samurai lord sitting behind a low desk, reading petitions from villagers or lesser retainers, weighing each request with measured consideration. The decisions made here affected the lives of many, carrying a weight that demanded both fairness and pragmatism. These roles required skills beyond combat literacy, diplomacy, and a deep understanding of the complex social hierarchies that governed feudal Japan. The samurai were scholars as well as soldiers, trained in Confucian principles that emphasized duty, loyalty, and moral conduct. Picture meetings held in rooms with sliding paper doors, where samurai advisors discuss strategy not just for war, but for peace, how to maintain stability, resolve disputes, and foster alliances. The quiet murmur of voices, the occasional pause for reflection, and the subtle gestures of respect create an atmosphere of solemn responsibility. The samurai's involvement in governance also included overseeing agricultural production and infrastructure. Maintaining roads, irrigation canals, and granaries was vital for sustaining the population and ensuring the smooth functioning of society. Imagine a samurai inspecting a rice field, walking slowly among stalks heavy with grain, speaking briefly with farmers about the season's prospects. This connection between warrior and worker highlights the interdependence that supported the era's social order. The justice system was another critical aspect of samurai governance. Samurai magistrates judged disputes, enforced laws, and carried out punishments when necessary. Imagine the tension in a quiet courtroom where voices are low, but the stakes are high. Justice dispensed with careful balance between mercy and authority. Despite the authority they wielded, samurai administrators were bound by codes of honor that limited abuses of power. Their legitimacy rested on adherence to these ideals, a constant reminder that governance was a sacred trust. So, as you imagine this side of samurai life, picture a world where power is exercised with calm deliberation rather than spectacle, a realm of paper and ink, careful words, and quiet influence. Imagine yourself seated in that chamber, the soft scratch of brush on paper, the delicate scent of incense, and the steady rhythm of responsibility unfolding gently in the background. Imagine the soft patter of footsteps across polished wooden floors, the subtle creak of sliding shoshi doors gently pushed aside. You enter a small, dimly lit tea room where every detail has been chosen with care. A humble hearth, a single hanging, scroll with simple calligraphy, and a vase holding a solitary seasonal flower. Here, in this serene space, the samurai practices the tea ceremony, or shanoyu, a ritual of harmony, respect, purity, and tranquility. The tea ceremony is much more than a way to drink tea. It is a carefully choreographed dance, a spiritual practice, and a reflection of the samurai's pursuit of balance between strength and subtlety. Imagine the deliberate movements of the host, each step slow and precise as they prepare powdered green tea or matcha, whisking it into a frothy emerald green bowl. The guests sit quietly on tatami mats, their eyes lowered, their breathing steady. The ritual unfolds with minimal words gestures, speak louder than speech here. The tea bowl is offered with humility, a gesture of respect both to the drink and to those who share the moment. Imagine the warmth of the bowl in your hands, the faint bitterness of the tea mingling with the softness of the room's quiet. The act of drinking becomes a meditation, a connection to the present, a moment of stillness in a world often filled with noise and motion. Every element of the ceremony, from the placement of utensils to the choice of sweets served before the tea embodies intention. The sweets, often made from sweetened bean paste, balance the bitterness, just as the ritual balances discipline and grace. The tea room itself is designed to invite humility and focus. Its simplicity is a rejection of excess, a gentle reminder that beauty lies in imperfection and restraint. Imagine the natural textures of the wooden beams, the delicate paper of the shoshi doors filtering light like soft silk. The ceremony also reflects the influence of Zen Buddhism, emphasizing mindfulness and the appreciation of the fleeting moment. It teaches the samurai to slow down, to see deeply, and to honor the transience of life like the steam rising from the tea, visible one moment and gone the next. Beyond the ritual's spiritual dimension, the tea ceremony was a social event, way to build trust, show hospitality, and strengthen bonds between samurai and guests. It fostered a space where rank and duty softened into shared humanity. Imagine the gentle murmur of appreciation after the tea is served, the quiet smiles exchanged, the sense of calm settling over the group like a soft blanket. The tea ceremony is a refuge, a pause, a reminder that in the delicate balance of life, even the simplest actions can hold deep meaning. So picture yourself in that tranquil tea room, the scent of powdered tea mingling with the faint aroma of incense, the soft textures surrounding you, and the quiet grace of a ritual that invites you to breathe, to be present, and to find peace. In a quiet cup, if the tea ceremony reveals the samurai's gentle side, then armor shows the other facet, a crafted shell of protection, strength, and symbolism. Imagine standing before a full suit of samurai armor, assembled with meticulous care, each piece telling a story woven from function and artistry. Samurai armor, or yoroi, was far from bulky or cumbersome. It was designed with remarkable ingenuity to balance defense with mobility. Picture lacquered plates of iron and leather, tied together with silk cords dyed in deep indigo or crimson, their colors fading softly with time. The surface glimmers quietly, not with flashiness, but with the muted sheen of materials made to last. Each component had a purpose. The helmet, kabuto, crowned the warrior's head with fierce, stylized crests sometimes shaped like dragons, horns, or even abstract forms meant to intimidate foes and inspire allies. Imagine running your fingers along the ridges of a kabuto, feeling the cool metal that once guarded a samurai's thoughts as much as his skull. The face mask, menpo, concealed identity and guarded against arrows or blades. It might be fierce or serene, a silent guardian embodying both the terror and dignity of battle. Imagine the subtle carving of mustaches or teeth on its surface details, intended to unsettle opponents while strengthening the wearer's resolve. The cuirass protected the torso, its small plates laced with cords allowing flexibility. Imagine the soft rustle as the samurai moved, armor shifting like a living thing. Beneath it, layers of silk padding softened impacts, creating a quiet cushion against blows. The armor also bore symbols of family and allegiance crests, mon, embroidered, or painted, telling stories of heritage and loyalty. Imagine a chest piece adorned with a delicate chrysanthemum or a fierce hawk, silent heralds of identity. Donning armor was a ritual itself, often requiring assistance to secure all the fastenings properly. Imagine the samurai's steady breathing. As each strap was tied, each plate adjusted, preparing not just for combat, but for the weight of responsibility and the expectations borne on the battlefield. Despite its protective purpose, samurai armor was also a work of art balancing form and function, strength and elegance. It represented the warrior's inner and outer world, a physical manifestation of honor and courage. As you imagine this, armor assembled and worn, feel the coolness of metal and leather, the quiet weight settled on shoulders, and the steady heartbeat beneath it all. It is not just protection, but a symbol, a silent, steadfast companion through the trials of life. Imagine the soft thud of hooves against earth, a rhythmic, calming sound that blends seamlessly with the gentle rustling of leaves in a quiet forest. For the samurai, horses were far more than mere beasts of burden. They were trusted companions, essential allies in both war and daily life. To understand the samurai's world fully, envision a moment spent in the stable, the smell of hay and leather mingling with the crisp morning air. The samurai's relationship with their horse was one of respect and deep care. Imagine the careful grooming rituals, the slow strokes of a brush moving through the horse's coat, removing dust and debris while calming the animal. The horse's breath rises in soft clouds in cooler weather, its eyes steady and patient, sensing the calm attentiveness of its rider. Horses were bred for agility and endurance, essential qualities for the swift movements required on the battlefield. Picture a compact, sturdy horse, smaller than the large breeds familiar to some, yet nimble and sure-footed, able to navigate rugged terrain and sudden turns with grace. Mounted on horseback, the samurai gained a vantage point, moving with speed, and command across fields and forests. The saddle and stirrups were carefully crafted for stability, allowing the rider to wield bow and sword without losing balance. Imagine the soft creak of leather tack, the gentle swaying as the horse moves, the steady connection between rider and mount. Training a horse was a slow, patient process. The samurai learned not only how to control their steed, but also how to understand its moods and needs. The horse was seen as an extension of the warrior's own body and spirit, a partner sharing in the uncertainties and dangers of combat. Beyond the practical, horses held symbolic significance. They represented status and power, their appearance often adorned with colorful saddles and decorative harnesses during ceremonies and processions. Imagine a horse standing proudly in a castle courtyard, its mane braided and ribbons fluttering softly in the breeze, a living emblem of prestige. The bond between samurai and horse was sometimes so deep that it inspired poetry and song. Gentle verses spoke of loyalty and trust, of silent conversations exchanged through touch and gaze. These quiet expressions remind us that even in the often harsh world of warriors, tenderness found a place. Imagine now the samurai preparing to mount, the horse shifting slightly beneath him, muscles rippling under the skin. The world feels steady and connected, earth beneath hooves, sky above, and the quiet companionship of a trusted friend. As twilight descends, horses are led back to their stalls, cared for with the same attention as their riders. The stable becomes a sanctuary of calm after the day's exertions, filled with the soft sounds of breathing and shifting straw. Picture yourself in this peaceful stable, the faint smell of horse and hay, the gentle touch of a mane, and the steady heartbeat of a noble creature resting in quiet companionship. In this shared stillness, the samurai and horse find a harmony that carries them forward, together, through the rhythms of history and life. In the delicate balance of the samurai's existence, poetry served as a soft counterpart to the sharp edge of the sword. Imagine a quiet room bathed in soft light, where a samurai sits with brush poised over rice paper, ready to translate fleeting emotions into carefully crafted verses. Poetry was not mere decoration. It was a way to express subtle thoughts and feelings that might otherwise remain unspoken. The samurai's poetry, often in the form of waka or haiku, captured moments of beauty, melancholy, and reflection, connecting the individual to the world in profound yet gentle ways. Picture a poem inspired by a cherry blossom, its petals drifting softly to the ground, a symbol of life's impermanence and fleeting grace. The words paint images that linger quietly in the mind, inviting contemplation rather than stirring excitement. The act of composing poetry was itself a discipline, requiring focus, patience, and sensitivity. Imagine the soft scratch of brush. On paper, the slow gathering of thoughts, the careful choice of words that evoke rather than declare. Many samurai exchanged poems as part of social gatherings, a refined way to communicate beyond conversation. These exchanges were gentle duels of wit and feeling, where sharpness was found in subtlety, not conflict. Poetry also served as a bridge between the samurai and the natural world. Seasons, weather, and landscapes became recurring themes, each element holding symbolic meaning. Imagine a verse evoking the quiet snowfall that blankets fields in white silence, or the distant sound of a nightingale's song. Through poetry, samurai connected their inner lives with outer realities, blending personal reflection with cultural tradition. This practice nurtured a sense of harmony and balance, reminding warriors that strength could reside in softness, and that words could be as powerful as swords. Imagine now holding a scroll with a samurai's poem. The ink slightly faded, but the meaning still clear, a gentle echo from the past, inviting you to slow down, breathe, and listen. As the day ends and night deepens, poetry lingers in the quiet. Spaces between thoughts, a soft companion to the journey toward rest and renewal. As the sun slips slowly below the horizon, painting the sky in soft hues of amber and rose, the samurai's day begins its measured descent toward rest. Imagine the fading light casting long, gentle shadows across the tatami mats of a modest room, where the warrior transitions from the demands of duty to the quiet sanctuary of evening. The samurai's evening routine was crafted with intention and grace, a counterbalance to the day's activity. Picture the careful removal of armor and layered robes, each garment folded and placed with respect, as if honoring the role it had played. The soft rustle of fabric fills the room, a quiet whisper accompanying this ritual shedding of the days. Armor. Washing hands and face once more, the samurai performs a final purification, not only physical, but symbolic, washing away the residue of tension and preparing the body and mind for rest. Imagine the cool water running over skin, a refreshing contrast to the lingering warmth of the day. Dinner, when taken, is a simple affair, nourishing but light. Imagine a bowl of rice accompanied by seasonal vegetables, miso soup, and perhaps a small serving of fish, all prepared with care and eaten slowly, mindfully. The act of eating in silence or with gentle conversation is a way to ground oneself in the present moment, a subtle closing of the day's chapter. Afterward, the samurai may engage in quiet reflection or the study of poetry and literature. Picture the soft flicker of a paper lantern casting dancing shadows on scrolls hung delicately on the walls, the scent of sandalwood incense curling lazily in the air. The written word becomes a balm, a gentle path to relaxation. Some evenings might be spent practicing calligraphy, brush in hand, strokes deliberate and slow. Each mark on the paper is a meditation, a way to focus the mind away from worries and toward calm intention. Imagine the soft scratch of brush meeting rice paper, punctuated only by the steady rhythm of breath. Family time, when present, unfolds with tenderness and quiet respect. Imagine a low table where tea is shared, children's voices hushed as stories are told, lessons passed gently from one generation to the next. This familial connection is a source of comfort and belonging, a reminder of roots in the ever-shifting sands of history. As darkness deepens, the samurai prepares for sleep, a process imbued with mindfulness. Tatami mats are arranged, futons laid out carefully, blankets folded with precision. Imagine the soft rustle of linens, the fading scent of incense mingling with night's cool air. Lying down, the samurai breathes slowly, letting go of the day's concerns, allowing muscles to relax and the mind to drift toward rest. There is an awareness here, not anxiety, but a gentle acceptance of the cycle of wakefulness and sleep. Imagine yourself in this peaceful room, the dim glow of lantern light, the soft quiet enveloping you like a warm blanket. The samurai's evening routine invites you to slow down, to find calm in simplicity, and to prepare gently for the renewal that comes with sleep. The samurai sword, or katana, is perhaps the most iconic symbol of this warrior class of blade that embodies both deadly precision and profound artistry. Imagine holding such a sword, its weight balanced perfectly in your hands, the curve of the blade catching soft light, inviting both awe and quiet reverence. Crafting a katana was a slow, sacred process, involving master swordsmiths who poured their skill and spirit into every fold of steel. Imagine a dimly lit workshop, glowing embers from the forge casting flickering shadows on walls lined with tools and raw materials. The smith's hammer rises and falls in a rhythmic dance, shaping the blade with deliberate care. The metal was folded multiple times, a process that removed impurities and strengthened the steel, creating a surface that gleamed like liquid silver and could hold a razor's edge. This folding pattern, visible under close inspection, is like the sword's fingerprint, unique and telling of its maker's hand. Beyond functionality, the katana was imbued with spiritual significance. The forging process was accompanied by rituals and prayers, a recognition that the sword was more than weapon. It was an extension of the samurai's soul. Imagine the quiet chanting of blessings, the respectful handling of the blade as it cools and hardens. The katana's design reflects a harmony of form and purpose. Its gentle curve allows for swift, fluid motion, a grace in both attack and defense. The hilt, suka, is wrapped in rayskin and braided silk, providing grip and beauty in equal measure. The guard, suba, often featured intricate designs, dragons, waves, or cherry blossoms, each telling a story or conveying protection. Using the katana required years of training, but also a calm, focused mind. Imagine the slow, precise practice of drawing and sheathing the sword, a ritual called iajutsu, where timing and mindfulness were as crucial as strength. The swift movement from rest to action mirrors the samurai's readiness to meet life's uncertainties with calm resolve. The sword was also a symbol of social status and personal honor. Carrying a katana marked a man as samurai, a visible sign of his commitment to the warrior code. Losing or dishonoring one's sword was considered a profound disgrace. Yet, the katana's true power lay not in violence, but in what it represented: discipline, mastery, and a connection to centuries of tradition. Imagine the quiet reverence with which a samurai handled his sword, understanding that it carried the legacy of those who came before. As night falls, picture the katana resting peacefully in its scabbard, the blade gleaming faintly in the moonlight, filtering through the window. It is both protector and companion, silent and steadfast. Imagine yourself holding this sword gently, feeling its weight and balance, sensing the calm strength that lies within. not just in steel, but in the spirit. It carries. Imagine a soft breeze carrying the scent of pine and earth as the samurai walk slowly along a forest path. Their footsteps are steady but unhurried, mirroring the steady beat of a life guided by a code bushido, the way of the warrior. This code was not written in a single book, but lived through countless small actions, shaping every moment with quiet discipline and deep reflection. Bushido emphasized virtues such as loyalty, courage, honesty, and self-control. Imagine the samurai, rising with the sun, carrying these principles not as burdens, but as companions, gentle guides in the complexity of daily life. They were ideals to aspire toward, a rhythm to move within, like the steady pulse of a river flowing through ever-changing terrain. Loyalty was central loyalty to one's lord, family, and community. Picture a samurai receiving orders with calm. Acceptance, understanding that their role was part of a larger whole. This loyalty was not blind obedience, but a commitment woven from trust, respect, and responsibility. Courage was not reckless bravado, but a quiet resolve to face difficulty with calmness and integrity. Imagine standing at the edge of battle, heart steady despite uncertainty, choosing to act with honor even when fear whispered otherwise. It was a courage born from deep conviction, a steady flame in the face of shadow. Honesty and sincerity were prized words were chosen with care, promises kept with unwavering resolve. Imagine conversations where silence carried weight, where truth was a delicate thread holding relationships together in a world that could easily unravel. Self-control was both a personal discipline and a social grace. The samurai practiced restraint in speech, action, and emotion. Picture a heated moment cooled by measured breath, a temptation resisted by steady focus. This balance allowed samurai to navigate the tensions of power and vulnerability with grace. The code also emphasized humility, recognizing one's place in the vastness of nature and history. Imagine a samurai bowing before a towering cedar, feeling the weight of centuries and the fleeting nature of life. This humility softened the edge of power, reminding warriors of their shared humanity. Death, too, was part of the code, a natural passage to be met without fear or regret. Imagine the quiet preparation for possible sacrifice, not with dramatic flourish, but with serene acceptance. The samurai's readiness to embrace mortality gave life deeper meaning, a calm clarity amid uncertainty. Living by Bushido was not always easy. It required constant reflection and effort, a lifelong commitment to align actions with ideals. Mistakes were met with humility and the resolve to improve, a gentle journey rather than a rigid rulebook. Imagine yourself walking alongside this samurai, feeling the steady presence of these virtues in the air around you, the quiet power of a life lived with intention and honor. In this way, the way of the warrior becomes a path not just for battle, but for peace. Beneath the armor and the code, the samurai was also a person, a husband, father, sibling, and child. Imagine a modest home warmed by the soft glow of paper lanterns, where daily life unfolds with tender rhythms beneath the weight of duty. Family was the heart of samurai society, a place of both expectation and refuge. Picture a samurai returning from the day's tasks, greeted by the quiet smiles of loved ones, the gentle murmur of children playing nearby. Though the outer world demanded strength and discipline, the home offered moments of softness and connection. Marriage was often arranged to strengthen alliances, but within these unions grew genuine affection. Imagine the subtle exchange of glances across a tea table, a shared understanding built over years of partnership. Respect and duty intertwined, shaping relationships that balanced personal feeling with social obligation. Parenting was both a responsibility and a joy. Samurai fathers taught their children the values of honor, loyalty, and discipline, not through harshness, but through example and gentle guidance. Picture a father patiently showing a child how to hold a brush or bow properly, the lessons conveyed, in quiet moments rather than loud commands. Mothers played a central role, managing the household and nurturing the family's well-being. Imagine the soft rustle of silk as a mother moves through the home, preparing meals, mending garments, and sharing stories that connect children to their heritage. Education within the family extended beyond formal study. Stories of ancestors. Bravery and wisdom were told at evening gatherings, weaving a tapestry of identity and belonging. Imagine the flicker of candlelight, illuminating eager faces as tales of past samurai adventures drift softly through the room. Despite the structure and expectations, samurai family life was not without its challenges. Long absences due to duty, the pressures of social standing, and the demands of the warrior code could strain relationships. Yet even in difficulty there was a quiet resilience, a shared commitment to support one another. Community ties also extended beyond the immediate family. Samurai households were part of larger clans and villages, connected through rituals, festivals, and mutual aid. Imagine neighbors gathering for seasonal celebrations, their voices mingling in songs that carry through cool night air. In this balance between duty and affection, the samurai found grounding, a reminder that behind the public persona was a private world filled with love, care, and the ordinary moments that shape a life. Imagine yourself stepping softly into this home, feeling the warmth of family ties, the gentle laughter, and the steady heartbeat of connection that carries through generations. Imagine a quiet morning in a samurai household, where the first rays of sunlight filter softly through sliding paper doors, illuminating scrolls of calligraphy and stacks of books. Education was a lifelong journey for the samurai, one that balanced the sharpening of both mind and body, a steady unfolding of wisdom and skill that shaped their way of life. From early childhood, a samurai was taught not only the arts of war, but also literature, philosophy, and etiquette. Picture a young boy sitting cross-legged, brush in hand, practicing elegant strokes of kanji under the watchful eye of a tutor. The steady scratch of brush on paper fills the room as lessons in language and poetry take root. Martial training was equally important. Imagine a dojo where wooden swords strike in measured rhythm, the air thick with the scent of tami mats and polished wood. The samurai's body was trained to move with precision and grace strength tempered by control. Breath and movement flowed together like a quiet stream. Confucian texts steeped in ideas of loyalty, filial piety, and social order guided the samurai's moral compass. Imagine reading passages aloud, the soft cadence of words echoing in a study lined with bamboo shelves. These lessons instilled values that shaped behavior and decision-making throughout life. Education was not limited to formal study. Nature itself was a teacher, the changing seasons, the blooming cherry blossoms, the patience of a growing rice stalk. Samurai learned to observe and reflect, finding lessons in the world around them. Picture a samurai pausing by a stream, watching water ripple over stones, feeling the steady passage of time. Artistic pursuits such as poetry, painting, and the tea ceremony complemented the martial and intellectual disciplines. These cultivated sensitivity and balance, reminding the warrior that strength and beauty could coexist. Imagine a samurai carefully composing a haiku, each syllable chosen like a brushstroke in a delicate painting. The education of a samurai was a lifelong dance between tradition and adaptation. Masters and mentors guided younger warriors, passing down knowledge with patience and care. Imagine quiet moments of instruction, soft words exchanged, corrections offered gently, like the shaping of a delicate bonsai tree. Through this balance of mind and body, the samurai prepared for both the battlefield and the court, ready to face life's demands with steady confidence. Imagine yourself in this serene study, the soft rustle of pages turning, the quiet focus of a learner, absorbed in timeless wisdom. In the steady rhythm of samurai life, moments of celebration offered gentle relief from the weight of duty. Imagine a crisp spring day, the air alive with the scent of blooming cherry blossoms, where samurai families and communities gather to honor tradition and find joy in shared rituals. Festivals were carefully woven into the social fabric, occasions for reflection, gratitude, and renewal. Picture the colorful banners fluttering in the breeze, lanterns swaying softly as laughter and music mingle in the streets. One beloved celebration was Hanami, the cherry blossom viewing. Imagine sitting beneath a canopy of delicate pink petals, the ground a soft carpet of fallen blossoms. Tea is shared, poetry recited, and quiet appreciation fills the air. The fleeting beauty of the blossoms serves as a poignant reminder of life's impermanence, a theme gently embraced by samurai philosophy. Seasonal festivals marked changes in nature and honored local deities. Imagine a procession winding through village paths, carried lanterns illuminating faces serene with reverence and delight. Traditional music floats through the evening air flutes, drums, and the gentle tapping of wooden clappers weaving a soothing tapestry of sound. Samurai participated in Gion Matsuri and other regional festivals, balancing ceremonial duty with moments of light-hearted camaraderie. Picture samurai in finely embroidered robes, their polished swords reflecting the glow of festival fires, smiling softly as children dart around with paper fans. These festivals also reinforced social bonds. Imagine families gathering around lo, tables laden with seasonal delicacies, sweet rice cakes, fresh vegetables, and savory dishes carefully prepared to honor the occasion. Conversations flow quietly, weaving stories that link past and present. Games and performances added gentle entertainment. Imagine watching a traditional no play, its slow, deliberate movements and haunting music inviting contemplation rather than excitement. Or a Kyogen performance, light-hearted and humorous, offering a moment of laughter without uproar. Through these shared experiences, samurai and commoners alike found comfort and continuity. Festivals were pauses in the steady march of life, reminders that even amid discipline and responsibility, there was room for joy, connection, and renewal. Imagine yourself among these gatherings, the soft murmur of voices, the gentle flicker of lantern light, and the peaceful harmony of a community bound together by tradition and celebration. Imagine stepping barefoot on soft moss, the earth cool and springy beneath your feet, the gentle rustle of leaves whispering secrets carried by the breeze. For the samurai, nature was more than a backdrop to their daily lives. It was a source of inspiration, reflection, and spiritual grounding. Their relationship with the natural world was one of quiet reverence, a dance of harmony and respect that echoed through every season. The samurai's appreciation of nature was woven deeply into their culture and practice. Picture a morning mist drifting over rice paddies, the pale sun gradually revealing delicate spider webs and dew-laden grasses. The cycles of growth, decay, and renewal mirrored the samurai's own journey, reminding them of impermanence and the beauty of transient moments. Seasonal changes dictated much of daily life, planting and harvesting, clothing choices, festivals, and even meditation themes. Imagine the crisp chill of autumn, when leaves turn fiery shades of red and gold, the air carrying the distant calls of migrating birds. This season inspired poems that spoke softly of letting go and preparing for rest. In spring, cherry blossoms bloomed in fleeting glory. Imagine the delicate petals drifting like pink snow, a gentle shower that both celebrates life and whispers of its passing. The samurai found in these blossoms a metaphor for their own existence, a reminder to live fully yet humbly, aware of life's fragile beauty. Gardens were crafted with intention, miniature landscapes designed to evoke mountains, rivers, and forests. Imagine a stroll through such a garden, the smooth stones guiding your steps, the gentle trickle of a koi pond soothing the spirit. These spaces invited quiet contemplation, a pause from worldly concerns. The practice of shinrin-yoku, or forest bathing, though named later, echoes the samurai's own immersion in natural settings for renewal and clarity. Imagine walking beneath towering cedars, the soft light filtering through needles, the air, rich with the scent of pine and earth, calming the mind and steadying the heart. Nature's lessons extended beyond aesthetics. The samurai learned from the resilience of bamboo, bending without breaking, from the stillness of winter snow covering, the land a quiet rest before spring's awakening. These observations shaped their approach to adversity, patience, and strength. The samurai's arts, poetry, painting, tea ceremony often centered on nature's motifs. Imagine an ink painting of a solitary crane standing by a pond, its reflection shimmering gently, a symbol of longevity and grace. Such images carried silent meanings, inviting reflection rather than distraction. Through this intimate relationship with nature, the samurai found a source of peace amid the demands of their roles. The changing seasons became a steady companion, guiding their inner rhythm and reminding them of life's ebb and flow. Imagine yourself seated beneath a maple tree, the soft rustle of leaves overhead, the cool earth beneath you, and the quiet harmony of a world unfolding in gentle cycles. In this connection to nature, the samurai discovered a calm strength, a balance that carried them through both challenge and rest. While samurai warriors often stand in the spotlight of history, the lives of women in samurai society reveal another layer of strength and subtle influence. Imagine a quiet household where women's steady hands and quiet wisdom shaped the rhythms of daily life and upheld the honor of the family. Women of samurai families carried responsibilities that demanded resilience, intelligence, and grace. They managed the household, oversaw servants, and ensured that traditions were maintained with care. Picture a woman moving through a room, her movements deliberate yet gentle, her presence a steady anchor amid the household's daily flow. Training for women included not only domestic skills, but also lessons in etiquette, poetry, and sometimes martial arts, particularly the use of the naginata, a pole weapon. Imagine a woman practicing movements with calm precision in a courtyard, her focus steady, embodying both grace and readiness. These skills were not only practical, but symbolic, reflecting the ideal of ryosai kenbo, good wife, wise mother. Women were guardians of family honor, raising children in the samurai code and managing affairs during their husbands' absences. Marriage was often arranged, yet within these bonds grew partnerships built on mutual respect. Imagine quiet conversations over tea, shared hopes and concerns expressed in soft tones, a world of emotional connection lived beneath societal expectations. Women also played key roles in maintaining social networks and alliances, hosting gatherings, coordinating festivals, and preserving cultural practices. They wove the social fabric that supported samurai clans. Picture a warm room filled with laughter and soft music, the glow of lanterns illuminating faces intent on friendship and tradition. The samurai woman's strength was often tested during times of conflict. When husbands and sons marched to war, women managed estates, defended homes if necessary, and ensured the family's survival. Imagine a woman calmly directing servants, making decisions with quiet authority, her composure a shield for those who depended on her. Literature and poetry written by women provide windows into their inner world's expressions of longing, resilience, and grace. Imagine a scroll delicately inscribed with verses reflecting both the joys and burdens of samurai life, a soft voice, echoing through time. Though their names may not always be recorded in history's grand narratives, the contributions of samurai women were vital. They shaped character, preserved tradition, and embodied a strength that balanced the swords. Edge with compassion. Imagine yourself sitting quietly beside one of these women, feeling the calm strength radiating from her, the gentle confidence that sustains generations. In this presence, the samurai story expands to include not only warriors, but the enduring grace behind the scenes. Imagine standing at the foot of a towering stone wall, the rough-hewn granite worn smooth by centuries of wind and rain. Before you rises a samurai castle, an imposing yet elegant structure that blends formidable defense with subtle artistry. The castle is more than a military stronghold. It is the heart of a domain, a symbol of power, and a carefully crafted home. Samurai castles were designed with layered defenses, massive stone bases, steep wooden walls, and winding paths that slowed. And confused would be invaders. Picture yourself walking the narrow, shadowed corridors, the faint echo of footsteps mingling with the distant call of a night bird. Every corner is deliberate, every stair a calculated challenge. The architecture reflects a balance of function and form. Roofs curve gently upward at their edges, adorned with ornamental tiles shaped like mythical creatures' silent guardians watching over the grounds. Imagine the subtle play of sunlight and shadow on wooden beams polished smooth by time. And care, within the castle walls, courtyards open to the sky, offering moments of calm amid the stone and timber. Imagine the scent of blossoming plum trees carried on a gentle breeze, the soft murmur of a small stream trickling through a garden. These peaceful spaces remind us that even fortresses are places of life and reflection. The castle housed not only warriors, but administrators, artisans, and families. Imagine the quiet hum of daily activity masters discussing strategy, servants carrying trays of tea, children playing beneath watchful eyes. The castle is a small city, alive with layered rhythms. Defense mechanisms were ingenious. Trapdoors, hidden chambers, and angled walls designed to deflect arrows or force attackers into vulnerable positions. Picture a narrow slit in a wall just wide enough for an archer to take aim, but too small for an enemy to return fire easily. Castles also embodied the status and prestige of their lords. Decorative elements, from lacquered panels to painted screens, showcased the clan's wealth and taste. Imagine a great hall where banners bearing family crests hang alongside, delicate scrolls of calligraphy, a meeting place where diplomacy mingled with ceremony. Life in the castle was a study in contrasts, strength and vulnerability, public display, and private contemplation. Imagine the samurai standing silently on a balcony at dawn, watching mist roll across the valley below, feeling the weight of history and responsibility settle softly on his shoulders. As twilight descends, torches flicker to life, casting warm glows on stone and wood. The castle breathes with quiet endurance, a fortress of both stone and spirit. Imagine yourself walking along the ramparts, the cool evening air brushing your face, the soft sounds of the castle settling into night. In this moment, you feel the calm strength of a place built not only to defend, but to endure through the cycles of time. While the katana often claims the spotlight, the samurai's arsenal was diverse and finely tuned, reflecting a warrior's need for versatility and skill. Imagine a quiet armory filled with carefully arranged weapons, bows, spears, throwing, knives all resting silently, ready for their moment. The yumi, the Japanese longbow, was a symbol of ancient martial tradition. Picture a samurai standing in a clearing, the tall, asymmetrical bow poised with steady hands. Its shape is elegant yet functional, designed for use on horseback or foot, capable of launching arrows with quiet precision over long distances. Training with the bow was a lifelong discipline. Imagine the slow, deliberate drawing of the string, the focused breath, and the calm release as the arrow flies, whispering through the air toward a distant target. Archery required not just strength, but patience and a meditative calm. The yari, or spear, was another essential weapon, straight and sharp, versatile in both thrusting and sweeping motions. Imagine the feel of polished wood in the hands, the cool metal tip catching soft light. Spears were often used in formation, their long reach providing a steady defense against approaching foes. Throwing weapons like the shuriken, small star-shaped blades, were used with subtle skill. Imagine the quiet flick of a wrist, the weapon spinning silently through the air, a tool of surprise rather than brute force. Precision and timing were everything practiced until the motion became second nature. The tanto, a short dagger, was carried as both a practical tool and a last line of defense. Picture a samurai adjusting the delicate grip of the tanto's sheath, appreciating its balance and form. It was also a weapon associated with ritual, embodying a quiet seriousness in moments of decision. Beyond defense, the samurai used tools. For defense and strategy, the koserigama, a sickle, attached to a chain and weight, required skillful timing to entangle and disarm an opponent. Imagine the fluid movements, the dance of weapon encounter, a slow and deliberate exchange of awe. Control. Each weapon in the samurai's collection was a study in craftsmanship and philosophy. They demanded not only physical skill, but mental discipline, a harmony between action and stillness, strength and subtlety. Imagine the armory in the fading light, weapons resting silently, each holding stories of patience and precision. In their stillness lies a quiet power, a reminder that mastery is found not only in force, but in thoughtful control. Imagine entering a small, quiet tea room tucked away in a garden, where the soft sound of water, gently flowing over stones, blends with the faint scent of incense. Here, the samurai engaged in the tea ceremony shanoyu, a ritual that transformed the simple act of drinking tea into a profound experience of mindfulness and grace. The tea ceremony was not merely about taste, but about presence. Picture the careful movements of the host, the precise folding of cloth, the slow, deliberate whisking of powdered green tea into hot water. Each gesture was measured, deliberate, and full of meaning, inviting both host and guest to enter a space of calm reflection. The room itself was designed to encourage tranquility. Tatami mats arranged in careful patterns, walls of plain paper and wood, a single scroll hanging as a silent reminder of impermanence or harmony. Imagine the soft light filtering through shoshi screens, the gentle creak of wood as guests settle into place. Every element, from the selection of tea utensils to the placement of flowers, was chosen with intention. Flowers were simple and seasonal, arranged to highlight natural beauty without extravagance. The tea bowl, often handmade and imperfect, was cherished for its unique character. Guests observed the ceremony with quiet respect, their movements slow and deliberate. Imagine the sound of a tea bowl being passed, the warmth of porcelain in gentle hands, the first sip savored in silence. This was a moment to slow time, to listen inwardly, and to connect deeply with the present. The tea ceremony embodied values dear to the samurai: simplicity, harmony, respect, and purity. It was a practice that balanced the warrior's often harsh world with gentleness and stillness. Imagine the contrast between the calm of the tea room and the outer world's demands, a sanctuary of peace within a life of discipline. Through the ritual, samurai cultivated patience and humility. Mistakes were accepted with grace, a reminder that perfection is not the goal, but sincere effort. The ceremony became a metaphor for life's fleeting moments, precious, delicate, and to be embraced fully. Imagine yourself sitting quietly in this room, feeling the steady rhythm of breath and movement, the soft warmth of tea, and the gentle presence of others sharing this moment. In this ritual, the samurai found a calm, refuge, a pause to reset and renew. Step into a carefully tended garden where every stone, plant, and stream is placed with thoughtful care. This is the world of the samurai garden, a living painting designed to evoke balance, beauty, and contemplation. Imagine walking along, Winding path bordered by moss and small shrubs, the air fragrant with pine and blooming azaleas. A garden is not merely decoration, but a space to engage the senses and calm the mind. It reflects the samurai's desire to bring order and harmony into their surroundings, mirroring the ideals they sought in life. Stones are arranged not randomly, but according to ancient principles, symbolizing mountains or islands, inviting the eye to rest and wander gently. Picture a dry garden where raked gravel mimics flowing water, its patterns soothing and hypnotic, encouraging meditation with every sweep of the rake. Water features, ponds, streams, or simple basins bring a soft, flowing element. Imagine the quiet splash of a small waterfall, the ripples moving slowly across a koi pond, the smooth stones beneath translucent water. These sounds and sights provide a serene backdrop for reflection. Plants are chosen for seasonal interest, their blooms and colors marking the passage of time. Cherry blossoms in spring, vibrant maples in autumn, evergreen pines standing firm. Through winter each contributes to a changing, living canvas. Imagine the soft rustle of bamboo leaves in a gentle breeze, the delicate scent of plum blossoms carried on the air. Garden structures, such as tea houses or lanterns, add focal points of beauty and function. Picture a stone lantern glowing softly in twilight, its warm light a beacon of calm. A tea house invites quiet gatherings, a place where nature and ritual meet. The samurai garden was both a personal refuge and a statement of cultural refinement. It expressed ideals of simplicity, transience, and harmony with nature. Imagine the samurai strolling slowly through the garden, each step a mindful act, a way to attune to the subtle rhythms of the earth. This careful cultivation of nature's elements reflected the samurai's inner world, a balance of control and surrender, strength and softness. The garden was a teacher, offering lessons in patience, observation, and acceptance. Imagine yourself seated on a stone bench within this garden, breathing in the cool, fragrant air, listening to the gentle sounds of water and wind. In this space, the mind softens and the heart finds quiet peace, a living sanctuary for rest and renewal. Imagine a quiet afternoon where the clatter of weapons gives way to softer pursuits, activities that refine the samurai's spirit and bring gentle balance to their demanding lives. The arts and pastimes of the samurai were not mere distractions, but essential parts of their identity, weaving calm, creativity, and focus into the fabric of their days. One such pastime was poetry. Picture a samurai sitting beneath a blossoming cherry tree, brush in hand, composing a haiku a few carefully. Chosen syllables capturing the fleeting beauty of a moment. Poetry offered a space for reflection, a way to give voice to emotions often held in quiet reserve. The rhythm of verses became a soothing tide, carrying thoughts softly along. Calligraphy, too, was a practiced art. Imagine the smooth brush gliding over rice paper, ink flowing in deliberate strokes. Each character held meaning beyond words, a visual expression of harmony and balance. The act of writing demanded patience and presence, turning language into a moving meditation. Music played its part in samurai life as well. The gentle notes of the shakuhachi flute or the delicate plucking of the koto strings filled quiet rooms, their melodies evoking landscapes, seasons, or moods. Imagine a samurai listening with closed eyes, the music weaving through the still air, calming restless thoughts. The tea ceremony, which you've heard of before, also fits here, a ritual blending art, mindfulness, and social grace. These moments slowed time, inviting warriors to shed the day's burdens and enter a realm of quiet beauty. Gardening was another form of art and meditation. Beyond the grand gardens you might have imagined, samurai tended to bonsai miniature trees, shaped with care over years. Imagine a tiny pine, its branches delicately wired, embodying patience and subtle control. Games such as Go and Shogi sharpened the mind, Picture a low table where two samurai contemplate moves, a slow, deliberate pace, fostering strategic thinking and calm focus. The concentration required for these board games was akin to a mental kata, training the mind as much as the body. Through these arts and pastimes, the samurai cultivated qualities essential to their way of life: discipline, patience, and a profound appreciation for beauty and impermanence. Imagine yourself joining in these quiet activities, the soft rustle of paper, the faint notes of music, the measured steps of a game, all guiding you gently toward calm. In the quiet corners of samurai life, Buddhism offered a refuge, a spiritual path that complemented their code of honor and shaped their understanding of life, death, and the self. Imagine a small temple tucked among pine trees, with a soft murmur of monks chanting mingles with the whisper of wind through bamboo. Buddhist teachings on impermanence, suffering, and compassion resonated deeply with samurai, who faced the realities of conflict and loss. Picture a warrior seated on a tatami mat, eyes closed in meditation, breathing slowly and steadily, seeking stillness within the storm of life. Meditation, zazen, was a practice that trained the mind to observe thoughts without attachment, cultivating calm and clarity. Imagine the quiet room, the faint scent of incense, the rhythmic sound of a bell marking time. This discipline helped samurai meet challenges with equanimity, balancing the intense demands of their world with inner peace. The concept of mujo, the impermanence of all things, was a constant presence. Picture cherry blossoms falling softly, a symbol that life's beauty is fleeting and must be cherished gently. This awareness shaped how samurai approached their duties and their own mortality, encouraging acceptance rather than fear. Buddhist rituals marked important moments: prayers for fallen comrades, ceremonies honoring ancestors, and rites to guide the soul's passage. Imagine the soft glow of candlelight illuminating a temple altar, incense smoke curling upward as monks chant softly, their voices blending into a calm chorus. Some samurai were patrons of temples, supporting monks and commissioning artworks that reflected Buddhist themes. Imagine a painted scroll depicting bodhisattvas figures, embodying compassion and wisdom, offering guidance in turbulent times. The teachings also influenced art and literature, inspiring poetry that reflected the delicate balance between attachment and letting go. Imagine a samurai composing verses that honor both life's joys and its inevitable sorrows, their words flowing like a quiet stream. Through their connection to Buddhism, samurai found a way to integrate the physical and spiritual, the harsh realities of duty with the search for meaning and tranquility. Imagine yourself sitting in this peaceful temple garden, the soft chant fading into silence, the cool breeze carrying a sense of calm that lingers gently in the heart. Imagine a vast tapestry, each thread carefully woven to create a pattern both intricate and ordered. This is the social hierarchy of samurai society, a structure that guided relationships, responsibilities, and daily life with quiet certainty. Within this framework, every person had a place, a role shaped by tradition and duty. At the top stood the daimyo, powerful lords who ruled domains with authority that echoed through castles and villages. Picture a daimyo seated on a raised platform, robes flowing softly, surrounded by advisors and retainers. Their word was law, yet their power was tempered by codes and obligations. Below them, the samurai served as both warriors and administrators. Imagine a samurai carefully preparing a report for his lord, then donning armor to inspect the village defenses. Their dual role bridged governance and combat, a steady balance between order and readiness. Further down were the ashigaru, foot soldiers who formed the backbone of armies. Picture a group of these men practicing drills in a misty field, their shouts quiet but determined. Though lower in rank, their service was essential, and many aspired to rise through the ranks. The peasantry, artisans, and merchants formed the broader social fabric. Farmers tended fields with rhythmic care. Artisans crafted tools and artworks with practiced skill, and merchants moved quietly through towns, trading goods that connected distant regions. Each contributed to the whole, their lives intertwined with the samurai's world. Social mobility was limited, but not impossible. Merit and circumstance could open doors, though tradition often held firm. Imagine a talented craftsman earning a samurai's favor, his hands steady and sure, his work honored for generations. This hierarchy was supported by rituals and etiquette that maintained harmony and respect. Bowing, speech patterns, and seating arrangements all reinforced the subtle order of interactions. Picture a formal meeting where each participant's place is marked by careful protocol, the room alive with unspoken understanding. Yet beneath this structure were human lives, complex and varied. Friendships, rivalries, hopes, and fears wove through the ranks, reminding us that order coexisted with individuality. Imagine yourself as a quiet observer, watching the steady flow of life within this hierarchy, the respectful nods, the shared meals, the silent acknowledgments of duty and honor. In this ordered world, each person found meaning and place, contributing to the rhythm of a society both rigid and alive. Picture a village scene where the paths of samurai and commoners cross in quiet intersections distinct lives, yet intertwined by the threads of daily existence. The contrast between their worlds was often sharp, but moments of overlap revealed shared humanity beneath differences of rank. Samurai moved with measured grace, their armor and robes signaling status and discipline. Imagine a samurai walking past wooden homes, his sandals clicking softly on stone, his gaze steady but not unkind. His day was shaped by training, administration, and rituals that demanded precision. Commoners, meanwhile, labored in fields, workshops, and markets, hands calloused, faces marked by sun and wind. Picture a farmer tilling soil, the scent of earth rich and deep, or a potter shaping clay with focused care. Their lives revolved around the cycles of nature and the practical demands of survival. Yet these worlds were not entirely separate. Festivals, markets, and communal ceremonies brought samurai and commoners together in shared spaces. Imagine a lively market day where the samurai purchases goods from merchants, exchanging polite bows and quiet words. The air hums with a blend of voices, smells, and movement. Despite social divides, samurai often relied on commoners' skills and knowledge, craftsmen who forged swords, farmers who fed their families, and merchants who connected distant provinces. Picture a samurai inspecting a blade, nodding appreciatively at the artisan's work, recognizing the quiet mastery behind the gleaming steel. At times, tensions simmered beneath the surface. Expectations of obedience and the weight of privilege could breed resentment. Yet daily life required cooperation and coexistence, a delicate balance maintained through unspoken agreements and shared customs. Imagine yourself standing at this crossroads, watching the gentle exchanges, the respectful distance, and occasional smiles that cross social boundaries. The contrast between samurai and commoners is clear, but so too is the human thread that binds them, the steady rhythm of life, with its challenges, hopes, and small moments of grace. Imagine the sun setting softly over a quiet landscape, the sky painted in gentle hues of pink and amber. As day gives way to night, the world slows, inviting a deep breath and a moment of peaceful reflection. So too does our journey through the samurai's world draw to a close an exploration not only of warriors and battles, but of rhythm, ritual, and the tender balance of a life lived between duty and stillness. The samurai's days were woven with contrasts, strength and grace, discipline, and art, the sharp edge of the sword and the delicate brushstroke of poetry. Imagine the steady footsteps of a samurai walking a garden path at dusk, each step measured, each breath aligned with the fading light. This balance was not easy, but it was profound, a lifelong dance of mind, body, and spirit. Our world may seem distant now, but echoes remain in the quiet moments we all know. We all in the for sleep, the soft rustle of leaves, the mindful pause that grounds us. Imagine yourself settling into this peaceful rhythm, the weight of the past lifting gently, replaced by a sense of calm connection. Through gardens tended with care, tea ceremonies filled with quiet grace, and lessons carried in the turning seasons, the samurai found ways to meet life's challenges with steady hearts. They embraced impermanence, practiced patience, and honored the delicate beauty of fleeting moments. Imagine the cherry blossoms drifting softly in a breeze, their brief bloom a reminder that even the mightiest warriors walked paths marked by gentle transience. And so, as you close your eyes and drift toward rest, carry with you the quiet strength of these ancient ways. The world moves on, but within us lingers the steady pulse of tradition and the soft glow of enduring wisdom. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the samurai's day and more. If you enjoyed this gentle unfolding of history, please subscribe to Stories for Sleep and let us know where and when you listen. Your quiet presence encourages us to continue sharing these peaceful stories from the past. May your night be calm, your dreams gentle, and your rest deep.